The RV Show USA is brought to you by Flagstaff, building better RVs, making smarter RVers.
And hello again, everybody. Alan Warren here, the RV Wingman. Welcome to the most listened to, most talked about show on radio and social media about the RV lifestyle. You can keep up with us on social media and learn, well, all about what we do at thervshowusa.com. As I said, I'm Alan Warren, the RV Wingman. I'm a lifelong camping and RVing enthusiast. I'm a campground owner and a consumer advocate who wants you to be a happy camper for life. The best way to do that, I think, is to help you become a smart RVer. If you're new to this show, you're going to find that if I do my job correctly, I think I will, I'll make you think, not necessarily agree with everything I say. Sometimes you may disagree with everything I say, but my agenda is pretty clear. I want to help you think, to learn, and to make the best decisions possible when you're buying and owning an RV. On today's show, we're going to talk about RV warranties and how they work, and we'll tell you some things that you may run into when you are making a warranty claim on your RV. Oh, and if you enjoy a good road trip, or if you grew up and you and your family took road trips, well, we've got a great guest for you. Did you ever hear the words from the front seat of your car when you were a child? Don't make me pull over. As a boy, those were the words that put us kids on notice back in the back. There was only one more step before Dad would pull over, and that was he'd reach over and try to backhand us back in the back seat. Then he'd pull over. So if you're a fan of the Great American Road Trip, you're going to enjoy knowing Rich Rattay. And if the COVID-19 and social distancing and economic disaster for thousands of businesses and their employees and murder hornets and political division isn't enough in 2020, it looks like Mother Nature is not very happy with us either. Forest fires out west, like 1 million acres, I think I heard, have been burned. A derecho in the Midwest, Hurricane Laura, ripped her way through Louisiana and all through the southeast. And it looks like there's another potential hurricane headed to the Gulf. If anybody needs a wake-up call, if we needed a wake-up call, I think this should be an alarm bell that every one of us should be paying attention to. As an RVer and a camper, I've learned to be a weather watcher. Every night before I hit the sack, I check the weather just to see if anything is heading our way. So a week ago last Friday, it was steady as she goes. It was going to be another typical hot August night in the campground. No storms predicted, no nothing, 95-degree days, not a drop of rain predicted for the next 10 days. And the forecast was dead on until 4 a.m. And we got rolled out of the bed with thunder and lightning and wind. And for the next 3 hours, it was like, as some folks say down south, it was a good one. The good news is that there was not much damage at our place, but it could have been a real disaster. When I made the rounds at daylight, just kind of look around, I saw lawn chairs and carpets, outdoor carpets blown all over the place, kids' toys and water bottles and cans, and several vehicles where their windows were left open, but only a few inches, just enough to make a real mess. Generally speaking, I think that RVers they're pretty good about having situational awareness. But sometimes, even if you are prepared, storms will sneak up on you, and there's not a thing you can do about it. We have talked about being prepared a lot on this show and the importance of spending some time preparing for some of the what-if scenarios. Discussing with your family what you'll do in the event that the unthinkable happens. Do you have a plan? You and your family have a plan? I'm not trying to be a nag here, but please take some time. Sit down as a family. You guys talk and listen. Talk about what you do if you know what hits the fan. By the way, a lot of people tell me that it's actually fun to sit down with the family and have a plan like this. And what can it hurt? All right, so, I hear from so many people that tell me that they want to become full-time RVers. I mean, a lot of people. And it's kind of bothering me right now. Nearly all of them say that they binge watch these YouTube videos on RVing and they want to do like so-and-so does on YouTube, right? So what's the big deal? Well, if you've been watching these YouTubers for a few years, you've probably been noticing some changes. In particular, there seems to be a trend, or at least the beginning of what might become a trend, towards the ditching of full-time RV living, and they're looking for a permanent nest to call home. Yeah, Many of these former full-time RVers are no longer living full-time in their RV, their home on wheels. Why do you think that is? I'll tell you why I think it is. The dream of living full-time in an RV is a great dream. It is, no question about it. But the reality of living in a 250 to 300 square foot home on wheels for the rest of your life is a whole nother story. For those who dream of becoming full-time RVers and YouTubers, it's never exactly like you plan. We've all heard the saying that if you do something you love, you'll never work a day in your life, right? Well, it's a nice saying, but it's not true. It may be sort of true. But ask anybody who has made a career out of doing what they love, and if they become successful at it, it's because it became an obsession. It did. Sort of like having to crank out a new and interesting YouTube video every single week. And their love becomes work. Making videos is easy. Anybody can do it. Almost everybody does. The problem is to make a good video is hard. It's hard work, a lot of work. It takes a lot of time. And for a full-time RVer, it takes time away from doing the very things they love. RVers who are stopping the full-time RV lifestyle can blame it on crowded campgrounds and the COVID and an assortment of other reasons, and all that may be true, but I think, my gut tells me anyway, that one of the reasons is that the love, the excitement of RVing, it's just not there anymore. It's not. Somehow it's been replaced with the requirement to produce another video and another and another. Many of the folks who are binge watchers on YouTube, they look at other RVers and say, man, we can do that. And they do, or at least they try. And God bless them. I mean it. I'm all about breaking the mold and finding your own happy place in life. But for those who are honestly pursuing full-time RV living and a YouTube community and making money while doing something they love, there is a whole nother side that is not nearly as glamorous. I even hear people say that they're going to buy their first RV and start a YouTube channel. And I'm like, oh boy. If they do both their lives, I guarantee you will never be the same. I'll promise you that. So let's see, to get in the biz besides the RV, well, you need to buy some camera equipment, right? Probably a new computer as well. And while you're at it, you might as well get a drone. I mean, everybody knows that the more views you get, the more money you make, because success is money. It's all about getting views. And instead of enjoying the camping experience like you once did, taking in a breathtaking sunrise or maybe enjoying the cool breeze in your face when you come across a hill on a nice hike, you're looking for the next shot, the next thing to shoot to make that great video. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. There's not. But it can sure turn what you love into, well, it just changes things. And then you become, if you're lucky, you become a YouTube star. But what happens then? Your cyber fans expect to hear from you almost 24/7. They will. And as fast as you got them, if you don't get back to them real quickly, many of them will end up hating you. That's just a fact. Back when I started TV fishing shows back in the 80s, I did it because I loved to fish. I mean, I loved it. So I decided to make a living at it. I did pretty well, I guess, for 30, 35 years, but my love of fishing was replaced by the need to get the shot, capture the moment on video, get the right interviews, make sure the lighting was right, make sure the audio was good. And then after it was all over, then the editing. Editing. Then guess what? On to the next show. Hurry, 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 the next location. And there was no time to enjoy anything. It was go, go, go. I didn't realize at the time, but I became more focused on video production than enjoying what I love to do, and that was to fish and enjoying with people that I love to be with. For those who dream of RVing, I want you to keep that dream. If you're dreaming of selling everything and buying an RV and becoming the next famous YouTube RVing couple, I hope that you will take it slow. Really, slow it down. Do your homework. Consider not selling everything. Consider taking some baby steps. And finally, always have a plan B and a plan C. Plan D and E is probably not a bad idea either. But most of all, I hope that you'll focus on the reasons that you love to RV and the people that you love to RV with. Life is short, folks. Slow down. Enjoy the moment. And hopefully not by looking down at some screen or looking through the lens of a video camera. Hope that makes some sense. I'm Alan Warren, the RV Wingman, right here on the RV Show USA. We're just getting started. Lots more great stuff ahead, including my buddy Rich Rattay with his new book. We're going to talk about it called Don't Make Me Pull Over. Back right after the break.